Hello. I'm going to talk about love. And this is not relevant to most of my audience, really, because most of you on my Facebook are married, and I'd say a good number of you are actually happily married. So that's not really, this isn't going to apply to you a lot. But to those of us out here in single lonely land or whatever we're in, this is something that um, I think to be true at this point. Oh, I'm so achy. my shoulders and neck and everything have been really stiff and hurting. And last night I got out some of this cream that the VA had given me. It begins with a D, and boy, that did the trick. It was an anti-inflammatory. So anyway, it's an overcast day, and I don't want to work outside. I might try to do something inside today, but right now I'm just sitting because I guess this, when you're hurting, it's harder. Anyway, I want to talk about, what I think is that even when a relationship is divinely connected together, like it's apparent, and it would be apparent to both people eventually, mutual, that it's brought together and both know it. Even when it's divinely orchestrated, it's something that heaven wants, your futures line up in some way, there's a peace about it. And like I said, there's a mutuality about it. But I think the main thing is just a sense that this is the Lord. If nothing else, there's a peace about it that it seems to be showing itself over and over that this is who I'm to be with, okay? Even in those situations where heaven has divinely brought two people together, okay? And you know what? There could be multiple people that I used to disagree with a friend of mine because I wanted to believe, that you had one soulmate, but how ridiculous logistically is that? That just makes no sense at all. But you may have multiple people that God kind of sends your way, and, you always have the free will, and so does the other person. They have the free will if God is prodding them or urging them to go your way. You have the free will whether you're interested and want to respond, right? And then maybe some people decide they don't want to do that. And so maybe then there will be another person sent. So that's probably more likely how it is now. We statistically, logically, we cannot live in magic land. We can't live in Disneyland, in magic Christianity land. You can't ignore the numbers, 5 women to every man. And the fact, of course, that many men are caught off in all kinds of addictions or homosexuality or in prison or they got 5 baby mamas and a million things going on and, or they're just not, they don't want marriage or they're irresponsible and selfish, whatever it is, right? Or they're not equally yoked with you, or they've got mental problems, whatever it is, okay? This is what we have to work with. And it's the same on the woman's side too. But this is what we have. God can't just manufacture people. He can't just, because you have women that would desire husbands, he can't just like go snap, snap, and then make, a 40 or 50 or 55-year-old man, like boom, just like that. He can't do that. And, pickings become very slim, as we get older too. And, I say that, it's not like I've had so many people look at me or be interested, I haven't really. But I don't know what they're looking for sure, but I know this much about myself. I'm going to be me. And I don't want to look like the girls look today. I'm not going to look young and fashionable and show this and show that and make duck lips and patty lips and, do the whole sexy thing. I'm not going to do that because that's not me and I want to be me. Okay. So, Gypsy Patty. So, Gypsy Bohemian. I learned a word, boho. Anyway, so what? So I just wanted to point that out, that is a reality. There really is a numbers issue and an availability issue and a readiness issue where both parties can meet up and be ready at the same time. There is an issue with that in the natural. And we have to be grounded in the natural and not be Fruit Loops. You can't be a spiritual freaking Fruit Loop. You don't want to be a carnal Christian that only uses reasoning and thinks in their flesh, but you also don't want to be a Fruit Loop. Because Jesus was 100% God, but he was 100% man, and we're sort of made in that image. We are spiritual on the inside, seated in heavenly places, but right now, our little hiney is seated in earth. Our flesh is here on earth and all of its problems. So we have to be grounded in that reality, right? We're here as long as we're here. And as long as we're here, we can still sin. As long as we're here, we're in a battle. As long as we're here, we are not transformed or given glorified bodies. We are being renewed daily by the word, being transformed, right? We are being transformed in here daily. The outward man perishes, but the inward man is renewed. If we are cooperating with God, we're letting him change us. And it's a slow, ridiculous, blind process a lot of times. Like you don't even know. You just think you've lost it. You're out of the loop. You're forgotten. He's disappointed. You missed the train and there's no more trains coming, right? I mean, the development of the fruit of the Spirit is not a picnic. So, but afterward it is, but not when it's happening. You're blind to it and you just think life is, screwing you over or God's screwing you over or, you're just like same old, like, yeah, this is what my life is. It'll always be all that stuff. Or maybe none of you have that problem. Well, I do. So, I don't mean to do that. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that either. So, anyway, no, I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. Ignore. I want to be a real, sincere person. It's not like I want to invite devils and problems by my negative words, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to attract more problems by my mouth. But it doesn't mean I can't speak Earth's reality. We can still have faith and be spiritually minded, heavenly minded, but we still speak Earth's reality. We've got to be grounded in reality here too, or you become a Fruit Loop. And you spiritualize everything. And it gets real weird. And then years later, you're sitting there and your life has not gone anywhere because you've got this like delusion of something, right? Like these men that, graduate from a certain Bible college here and, like they've never married because they've got the formula down and they're waiting for that perfect little Barbie doll, perfect woman to walk through. The perfect woman. They're not really looking at what they have to offer her and preparing themselves for her. They're just looking for that perfect woman and they're not going to talk to anybody until that happens, okay? And I'm we can be like that too. Okay, we can be shallow. Yes, we can. That's a struggle. But a lot of times that's our own pride and esteem issues, why we want someone who's real good looking or just real this or real that, But there's also a natural aspect to that too. I mean, I can't do, stinky, smelly, dirty, scraggly beard, deer hunter, chainsaw massacre look. I can't do gangster look. I can't do that. I can't do that. And that seems to be the look of today is this like gangster. Either they're a gangster with hoodies and their pants hanging down, or they look like they're going to the gym every day, or they look like a deer hunter, or kind of rednecky or really scary. And I don't say that to be mean or demean at all. I say it because it's sad because a lot of these guys would like someone. But they're going to have to do something about the outside, even if some of these guys might have a really good inside. But if a woman, okay, here's why I'm saying this. I went to a site. I don't go to these sites, but I did go to a site recently of men in Oklahoma. And, it depressed me. And these guys are taking pictures with no shirt on, 12 feet away, or up close mugshot, or they've got their wife beater shirt on, or they're wearing their deer hat, their deer hunter hat, or just looking real scary or scraggly. And I'm like, you guys are not going to get women to click on that. And of course, these are older guys, these are guys, 50 and up kind of, And the reality is I try to take care of my appearance. And so it is fair that I expect a man also to look nice. Doesn't have to cost money. You can look nice and not spend money, hardly, There are many ways a man can make himself attractive. And so that's important to me. I can't do, dirty toenails and like bad smell and, doesn't know how to dress and scraggle. I can't do that. I'm just keeping it very real. I can't. So it's just sad that these guys want someone, but they really need women to come in there and help them to dress, help them to learn to kind of fix their hair, fix their beard, fix their, clean their fingernails, or, wear cologne and, just what colors look nice on them or whatever. And like I said, I'm talking about just some of the guys that I saw on this site, And anyway, I went off on that for some reason. Oh, when I was talking about the guys tend to not improve themselves and prepare themselves for what they have to give. They kind of just look for this perfect woman. Women are actually easier on men as far as the appearance than vice versa. Just saying. I really believe that's true. So, here's what I think. It's not magic. You can't just make men. You can't just make women. You have what you have to work with here, number one. Number two, salvation and freedom and growth from whatever lifestyles they've been in. Those things have to happen for them to be available. Or just to be given the desire to be married, to be healed so they can actually love another person. All those things. Okay, there's that. But even with the preparation that comes before two people brought together, even when it is a God thing and God has connected those people and there's a peace and they know it's right, okay? There are going to be problems. That's what I really said all of this. I went around the mountain, but I said all that to say this. Even in a really good match, there's going to be problems. And sometimes it's just problems like this, and then sometimes it'll be a problem like this. It just depends. You can't put anything in a box you don't know. Every situation is different. Every situation is different. We have the guidelines of the word, and we have wisdom, but every situation is different. But we still can't alter this stuff up here, right? So God could bring two people together right away, and it's a done deal. Or, like most cases, they have to get to know each other gradually, clothed and in their right mind, right? Not going to bed first and then backtracking and trying to figure out if they like that person. Once you have sex with someone, you have really, you've put yourself in a real impossible situation, because backtracking from that, there's already going to be a sort of a strange bond that sex does do a chemical bond, okay? Bible says you actually become one with them when you have sex with someone, okay? So you've got that. You've got the emotional dynamics of he had me, she had me, we had each other, we knew each other's nakedness, but I don't even know that person. I don't even think I like them, and they're hateful and mean, or they're a jerk, or really, I don't have anything in common with them. Or they don't like me. That's often what happens is it turns into hate and resentment. That's why we're not supposed to do that. Okay. Don't put the cart before the horse. Relationships have to develop far beyond the bedroom and far before the bedroom. The bedroom's for the culmination of the love and the marriage and all that. It's a covenant thing. You can't, like, short circuit a relationship and get physical early. And that's harder for some than for others. But then that will also show you, is it really just attraction and I'm lusting after this person? Or are we just kind of emotionally somehow familiar to each other with our problems? Or, there's a lot of that stuff, okay, that goes on. But what I want to say is this. Even in a heaven-sent situation, you are going to have things you have to deal with in this heavenly sent relationship. Each person is not finished in their development. Each person is not healed all the way generally. I mean, maybe we can reach healings in some things where it's not a problem anymore, but we're like an onion, and it's a layer at a time. And romance and marriage make you very vulnerable and bring out a lot of these sensitive. Why do you think people are crazy in relationships when they're sane in other parts of their life? Because they're vulnerable. Because this involves your family of origin. This involves your security, your trust. This is your forever. It's supposed to be, right? People spend more time looking up, researching cars and buying and looking at houses than they do really getting to know a person. If this is a forever thing and you're going to be stuck in it forever and there was no such thing as divorce or running away, yeah, you'd think again, And the problem is, especially when you're younger, you're really not looking at everyday life. You're in the woohoo. But when you're older, guess what? You're still doing that. Woo, right? Love has to stand daily life. What if you have to take care of that person because they're sick? What if you have to do tasks that aren't real pleasant? What if this person loses bowel control? What if they lose their breasts? What if dementia starts to set in? And of course, these are generally older concerns, but even in a young marriage, you can have things happen that alter everything. And generally, that's not going to be the case. I'm just saying this is real reality stuff. You're going to be waking up together every day, and whatever your day is now without them is what it will be with them. So if you're generally miserable and angry every day, you're going to be that way with them. Because a marriage is only as good as the two people involved, not the one person, as the two. One can't carry another forever, There has to be a give and take, right? So I need, I'm not going to carry another person, Sometimes I can, but they have to be able to carry me too. They have to be strong when I'm weak. And I have to be strong at times when they're weak. We're both healing and helping each other through this connection of marriage. That's why people that are married, not always, but I notice it in the men. There's just certain kind of maturity that comes around because, they've had to learn to think of something beyond themselves. And, they've just had some life lessons taught through raising kids, et cetera, okay? But then again, some people stay stunted and never grow in spite because it really is your choice. It is your choice to grow or to stay where you are. And you have that right. You have that freedom to stay in unforgiveness and bitterness and hatred and insulating yourself. You can. You'll probably be miserable alone, but you can. So we do have that. God gives us a free will. He will never force you to do anything. We have to choose the path to growth and accept that sometimes things hurt and they're uncomfortable. We have to accept that sometimes that other person will disappoint us. The key is there's a difference between someone disappointing us, just on occasion and really not even meaning to. And someone who chronically, that's the whole thing, chronically disappoints you, chronically does not come through, chronically is irresponsible, chronically is nasty, whatever it is, right? Chronically. That's the difference. So, if something is chronic like that, then there's probably a real problem from the beginning that you need to see that, But if someone is teachable and malleable and willing to be taught and willing to yield to God, that's the whole thing right there. It's attitude. It's the willingness and humility to let that happen. All right, I better make this another video. All right, be back. Maybe. No, I will. I'll be back.